colorblind son right there. And so they'll always look kind of like this.
And there's only one carrier.
Yeah, so there's 25% chance of having a colorblind son. Of the sons, there's a 50% chance they will be colorblind. Okay? So that's number one. Most forms of muscular dystrophy, blah, blah. But the one, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, is an X-linked recessive allele. A woman had a father, so let's see here. A woman had a father who had this. What is the probability that she will have a son with muscular dystrophy? We're assuming that her husband doesn't have it. But the fact that her father had it means that she's going to get one copy of it.
Won't she be a 50% chance of not being a carrier?
Well, that's the same as saying there's a 50% chance she is a carrier.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so we'll call little m muscular dystrophy, and we'll assume that nothing is said about the father, so he must be fine. And so we're going to have all the females will be fine, although this one will be a carrier. And so this will be the son with muscular dystrophy. You see a pattern emerging here. The mutant gene that produces hemophilia. So this is the hemophilia problem. So might as well do it. Okay. So okay. So we're not so concerned about Queen Victoria as we are about this Tsar Nicholas of Russia. And I guess the female counterpart of a Tsar is a Tsarina. And the Tsarina had 4 daughters before finally having a son, Alexis. Alexis had hemophilia. What are the genotypes of Tsar, Tsarina, and Alexis? And so here's the Tsarina, and here's the Tsar, who we know was normal. And this had to be the Tsarina, who was a carrier. Okay? And so %50 of the daughters will be carriers. That's supposed to be a little age there. Yeah. So let's look at the questions. First, we answered what are the genotypes of the Tsar. There's the Tsar, there's the Tsarina, and Alexis was the son. So that's Alexis, who was the first one to ever have hemophilia. That must have been a shock. So, how many daughters were probably carriers of the hemophilia gene? Well, the odds are 50%, but when you only have four daughters, I mean, that's not a statistical cross-section. And so you could say their number they're looking for is 2, but it's pretty risky to say that out of 4, I mean, that's not a statistical cross-section. So, yeah. Okay. So, what is the probability that if they had another son, he would also have been a hemophiliac? 50%. Okay? If they had another son, because 50% of the males will have it. A woman, so here's the only one that gets a little more interesting. because we talk about two traits. So we'll use two superscripts. Maybe I'll write a little bigger, so. And so, a woman carries the alleles for both color blindness and hemophilia. Of course, the woman is XX, isn't she? So, she's got two chromosomes that could carry those traits, but we're told she inherited both traits from her mother. Why is that an important piece of information?
It's on the same X.
Then they're on the same chromosome.
Oh,
Yeah. See, we're just told there that they're both going to be in the same chromosome. So here we're looking at color blindness and hemophilia. So here's the normal. Both the normal alleles are on one chromosome, and both of the faulty ones are on one chromosome. And so we're going to get and of course, she marries a man who's colorblind but not hemophiliac. So that's kind of interesting. So we're going to have so this woman will be a carrier of color blindness, but not a carrier of hemophilia. Okay. This woman will be a carrier. This woman will actually be colorblind. Isn't that interesting?
Why are the H's little?
Well, because I'm screwing up, Tony.
Way to go, Tony. Point it out.
Grind it in. Okay, is that better?
Should they both?
So this woman actually is colorblind. Okay, but she doesn't have hemophilia. Okay. So,
are one of those H's little in that second box?
yes, this is a little h right
Okay.
there.
Alright,
Yeah, came from up there.
okay.
Yeah.
But what is the male's dominant X?
I thought the male was dominant X.
Huh?
Well, the male's X has a dominant H, so what is?
Dominant H.
So that.
So that's
So
this
that's
one.
the dominant.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't have hemophilia.
So this is from the male, and this is from the female.
So that lady would be colorblind and a carrier.
This lady would be colorblind, but not hemophilia.
But she'd be a
Be
carrier.
a carrier, but not.
She'd be a carrier of hemophilia. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a little more interesting. And so that person is going to be perfectly normal. And this poor soul is going to have both hemophilia and color blindness. Probably won't care about the color blindness compared to the hemophilia. So, okay. So that's kind of an interesting one
Why
there.
is the female dominant in this one?
The what?
Why is the female dominant in this
How do
one?
you decide which one to start?
Because I thought the male was always dominant to the female.
No, the X.
No, on the female, on the XX, right above it. That's the only question.
So this
I'm having a brain
female is homozygous recessive, and she's colorblind.
It doesn't
just-
matter.
In the
It
color
doesn't
blindness
matter.
Matter if you
gene.
put the woman's X
This is the
first
woman.
or the man's X first. That doesn't matter.
We actually have a
Color
colorblind woman. She doesn't have hemophilia though. She should thank her lucky stars.
She was wondering why they weren't reversed.
First.
So
Oh,
you could go
that's because
flip-flop either way.
I was starting to screw up, but I recovered by putting it over here.
But you could go either
You
way.
can go
Yeah, it
either way.
doesn't matter
Wouldn't
which
matter.
side you show them on.
That's more my question.
Because in real life, they're twisting all around, aren't they?
So the probability the first two children will be boys with normal vision,
So the probability is
25.
The first, so what are the questions? What is the probability that the first two children will be boys with normal vision? 25%. Okay, one box out of 4.
So it's,
What is the probability of having a hemophiliac daughter?
So I have a question.
Zero.
When it says the,
0.
when it says the first two children
yeah, it's
will
not
be
the-
boys, what
We're
if
not
it's-
specifying boys or girls,
But
and
is it-
so
is
you
it-
just
would it
count
be-
boxes.
Isn't that the one where we multiply
what you do,
though?
like 25% times.
Oh, the
Be
first
1/16?
two children in a row, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so, will be boys with normal vision, it's 0.25 times 0.25, thank you for,
So 1/16?
Mhm.
One over 8.
yeah.
And 1/16.
That's a lot easier than 3/8 times 3/8 times 3/8.
Come on.
So it's 1/16.
Yeah. Okay, so, we okay with all of that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's go over the quiz now.
So on the quiz, do you prefer it as a decimal or?
Do I
or the
what?
Do you prefer it as a decimal when you have to do that, or?
You know,
My
if you write
fraction's
3/8
just
times 3/8 times 3/8, I'm perfectly happy camper. Okay, if you don't bother to crank out an answer from that. Okay, but if you're a real, anal person, then, you may wish to crank out an answer.
Wow.
The decimal equivalent,
Like 1/,
yeah,
like
a
500.
decimal equivalent of 3/8, anyone know what it is?
It's 27 over.
Nope, it's
400.
0.375. Is the decimal equivalent of 3/8. And so if you take 0.375 and cube it, then you'll get a decimal answer. I think it's 0.053.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like 5%.
yeah, so. Okay, so let's do the quiz.
Yeah, I did that.
Because the chances of something like this showing up on the lab final are just about 100%.
That's the right answer.
And then
So,
I get the percentage.
The 1/512? Yeah, 0.2%.
I'm up to like 5. I don't remember. But I did the percentage. Yeah. Really? I sat at work and did homework all day.
Hmm?
I sat at work and did homework all day. I filed over 150 pages and then I just screw it.
I want to sit at work with you.
so, do I have to do the first one?
No, it's okay.
So how many possible genotypes are there? Well, you ask yourself, how many heterozygous pairs are there? And there's only 2, so there's 2 to the 2 is 4. Okay, and it's pretty easy. They're all going to contain little a, little t, and so it'll be little a, little t, and then you just the various combinations of big R or little r, or big F and a little f, till you get 4. Okay. But in the next one, let's go through that one. So we look at each trait separately. We want to know if those parents could have this child. And so let's look at the AB blood type first. So we're looking at 1. So we look at the AB blood type. So one parent, and you could try BB, but if you try BB, you limit the number of possibilities. We want to know if this is possible at all. And if you try BB, you're just going to limit the number of possibilities you can get. So why not expand the number of possibilities you can get and write BO as your blood type? You can do them both if you want to, I don't care. Okay, so that one is, we'll use that, and then there's AB, and so. So a whole bunch of different blood types, and the child was A, and so there's the child, and so if you just put a little arrow there, that's the child. That's why you don't need to say anything. We can move on to the next one, which is the MN blood types. These are all blood types, really. And so one parent, we'll call it NO. And the other one was MO. So then you'll have MN, MO, NO, and O. So the child was type O. So you see, if I had done NN, that wouldn't have worked, would it? And I just would have had to do one more Punnett square. So I mean, which is fine if you wanted. But that's the one there, that's your child. And so finally, we look at the RH factor. Okay. And so we have, if you're RH positive, better to do the heterozygous because you get more possibilities. Okay. And so, but you can do the other, try the other one. Probably have to do another Punnett square though. And so the other parent is also RH positive. So we're gonna get so there's our RH negative child right there. So the answer is possible, and you supported your answer by doing these three quickie little Punnett squares that didn't take very long at all.
What if I just put yes?
If you put yes, you'll get most of the points.
Don't go
Because
there.
I say support your answer. Okay?
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is possible.
I told you guys that you had to support your answers. I even said
Crap.
it. I said it during the test.
You can write yes if you
support
support
it.
your answers, right?
I was
Well,
square yes.
yeah, you
I
could,
did
or you
that.
could try and support it, you could try and support it verbally somehow.
No, I did the
But I'd much
squares.
sooner you do it this way.
No, but I did the squares,
Essay.
but I put yes
Yeah.
instead of
That's
possible.
what she read.
Oh, yes? You mean you did this and you wrote yes?
I was gonna see if you were gonna be angry.
Oh, you
about
thought
it.
oh, that's 100% off. You get no credit at all. Yeah.
So we're that way. Like, sure you
No,
weren't being
I didn't know what
angry.
you were asking. You-
Gotta have fun somehow.
Okay, so the next one, we'll do the blood type again. So, we do AO, one parent, and BO for the other parent. So it's AB, BO, AO, and OO. And so, yes, the child is blood type O. I was looking at, yeah, there's A up there. Okay, just talking to myself. Okay, so that one is possible. So let's look at the M and the N. Okay, and so we have MN for one parent. We have MO for the other parent, and so M, O, M, N, O. And the child is N, so there you are right there. So that's possible. And finally, the RH factor, we have an RH positive parent, and I think I was looking at the wrong. Yeah, I should have, on number one of the parents was RH negative, and I showed two RH positive parents, cause I was looking at the wrong one.
But the
I
answer's still
probably
the
shouldn't have
same.
said anything.
The answer's still
Yeah.
the same.
Are you really on a need-to-know basis? I'm gathering that you're not. Okay, so, you're looking at me like, get on with it. So, we have two RH positive parents, so R.
I woke everybody up.
I needed that. So there's your RH negative right there. So if you write possible or yes,
Yes.
yeah, that would be
Whatever.
just fine. Yeah. I thought you just wrote yes.
Or if you're anal, you'll just write, yes, this combination is
Yeah.
possible.
Yes, this combination, oh, you did.
you
Oh,
got-
I did.
What can I say?
Oh, no, you're gonna get points off for that one. You went too far.
At least you didn't just write yes.
What was he saying about anal a while ago?
Oh, trust me.
Okay,
Oh, bad.
so in fruit flies, we got might as well draw these. So we're gonna cross two parents with an ebony body, and we know, since that's the recessive phenotype, we know that had to be homozygous. Red eye, on the other hand, is the dominant trait, so we have to specify that that's homozygous. Is crossed with a yellow body, and since that is the dominant phenotype, we have to be told whether it's homozygous or heterozygous, and we're told that that's homozygous. But maroon eye is the recessive, and so we know already that that had to be homozygous. So to get the F1 generation,
Oh, that was maroon.
the top of the left and the bottom of the right, gives you that. And if you do the bottom of the left and the top of the right, you still get that.
Well, doesn't the bottom on the left,
It doesn't matter if it's flipped over. Yeah.
but isn't there another plus on one of the?
Yeah, there's a plus on the EV on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, yep, right.
Oh, should I have a plus on the
Yeah.
EB on the bottom?
Yep.
Let's see why that is. By top of the left, oh yeah, there should, I should definitely, yeah. Yeah.
So yellow
Okay.
eyes and yellow body and,
So this is yellow
Red
body,
eyes.
red eye,
okay.
and, but it's heterozygous in both traits. And you had to go through this exercise because you don't know whether the dominant alleles are on the same chromosome or on different chromosomes. We are now gonna do a test cross with homozygous recessive. And so that'll give us 4 possibilities, 2 parental and 2 recombinant. So top of the left and the bottom of the right. Gives you that, bottom of the left and the top of the right. Okay, gives you that. And now I take the F1 off in the corner somewhere and flip one side of it while leaving the other side the same, which mimics the effects of crossing over. So I'll leave the left-hand side the same and flip the right-hand side. Everybody agreed that I did it right? Okay, so now we're gonna do the top of this and the bottom of that. We'll do a test cross again. Okay, and we're gonna do the bottom of that. And the top of the right. So I ask you to label the phenotypes. So this is gonna be ebony body, red eye, isn't it? Okay. Gray body, maroon eye. Ebony body, maroon eye. Gray body, red eye. So you write those down. And finally, I'm told that they're 20 map units apart. And so these two are the recombinant ones. And they will be, okay, and you'll get 10% and 10%. Because we're told that they're 20 map units apart. So this will be 40% and 40%. We had to what?
Put that the first two are the parental.
Yeah, the first two are parental, second two are recombinant. The result of crossing over. Recombinant means recombined. Okay. So let's do the Vulcan problem, which is a really cool problem. So, the allele for rough skin is dominant to that for smooth skin. The allele for long nose is dominant to that for short nose. A male with smooth skin and a long nose. So, if the male has smooth skin, it's got to have that, it's got to be the genotype for the skin, correct? Because that's recessive, the recessive phenotype. And but he has a long nose. Okay. And the allele for, the male with smooth skin on a long nose. We have to be told, that's what I was looking for. We have to be told that he's heterozygous in that trait. Because when you have the dominant phenotype, you don't really know whether the person is heterozygous or homozygous, do you? So you got to be told somehow, one way or another. Okay, and so that is the genotype of the male. Marries the female with rough skin and a long nose. The female's mother has a short nose and smooth skin. So we're told she's carrying that little statement tells she's heterozygous in both those traits.
Do we want to have the guy have an L for the long nose so I don't get confused?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. And so we're getting back to the female. The female has both of the dominant phenotypes. So we have to be told somehow whether she's homozygous or heterozygous in both those traits. The fact that one of her parents have the recessive phenotype, for both of the traits, tells you that she's heterozygous in both of those. So this is the female, okay? And so how many different gamete genotypes are there for this one?
Two.
Well, little r, big N, little r, little n.
4.
They're two. Correct? Remember, the number of gamete genotypes is the number of heterozygous ones you have. Here we have two heterozygous genotypes, so the number of possible gamete genotypes is 4. So it's going to be big R, big N. Big R, little n, little r, big N, and little r, little n. So we're going to have kind of an interesting Punnett square. It's going to have 2 boxes on one side and 4 boxes on the other. Okay? So we got over here. If you got this far, you'll get a lot of points. Okay? Then you gotta go.
Took me a while to remember how to do that, because I was just like, I just couldn't remember.
Get a whole bunch of different combinations, that's for sure. Leave yourself a lot of space so you can cram this stuff in here. And if you get this far, you really get a lot of points.
What should that be,
Not a big
capital N?
Top.
Top right?
Top right,
Right there.
there are no capital N's.
Oh, the top
Top
right.
right.
Top right?
Yeah,
Oh, yes, it should.
we're on it.
That's good. That's good. That's why we go through this.